pasta, and it is called A Story About a Dog. Yeah, I thought I might try it out. See if it can say, well, shit's given. Okay. But yeah, let's start. I've heard it said before that if you believe in angels, you must believe in demons as well. I'm not sure if I truly believe that either really exists, and my leanings change from mood to mood. But there are times when I wonder if there's something there, watching us, cloaked in the dark, hating us. When I felt the presence of something I couldn't see, when instincts overrode logic, and I couldn't close my eyes or turn my back to it because I just didn't know. I can say with a certain amount of confidence that everyone has felt this way at some point in their life, with varying degrees of intensity and frequency. But that's not what this is about. Not entirely, anyway. When I let myself believe in such things, I realized that started around 10 years ago when I spent a week at my aunt and uncle's house. They lived several hours away from my own home, and this was something I always hated, seeing as their children were the only ones in the family and were close to my age. There were plenty of movies, games, and other activities to keep me occupied during this day, bookending my experience in a way that nearly erased it from my thoughts altogether. Afterwards, it had seemed such a small thing to me that I mentioned it to no one. It was late at night. At some point in the middle of my stay, I had woken quite suddenly in my bed for seemingly no reason at all, and I couldn't get back to sleep. Even after what seemed to be hours of laying in the dark. Defeated, I decided to get up and move around. Maybe get a glass of water before trying again. I looked to the clock and noticed that it was fairly late. Early morning, in fact. 3-something, it said. But what could I do? As I walked out into the hallway, I noticed that I didn't feel quite right. A bit sick in my stomach and slightly anxious, unsheltered. I turned on every light I came across, but maybe that was only my childish fear of the dark getting the best of me. I was only 11 at the time, after all. Despite my attempts, I had to reason my dread away, to banish it as I had done with the dark. The feeling persisted all the way to the kitchen. I needed to calm down if I was going to get any further sleep that night. I got myself a glass, filled it from the tap, and sat down at the kitchen table. I felt a bit lonely, knowing that the only person awake in the house, and I disliked looking at the empty chairs, so I turned my gaze to large glass doors instead. The impenetrable pitch of the night blocking the backyard from view. I couldn't see anything out there, but I froze instantly. Instinctively, I was being watched. Someone was approaching the door, the windows. I couldn't see it, but it could see me clearly. With all the light flooding in the kitchen, I was bathed in it, completely exposed. But I couldn't see out. Everything was awful. I wanted to run, but I couldn't make myself move an inch, not even to look away. And with all these flimsy, hateful walls, a thin pane of glass, what good would any of that do? None. Nowhere was safe, and it was coming. Soon enough, I could make out the shape, and it was eye level with me on all fours. I couldn't see with my eyes, not physically, but something in me inexplicably knew it was there. I knew what it looked like and how it moved. Closer, still, I could distinguish its features. Thick, matted black fur against the black night, a chain around his throat, yellow eyes that stared in at me through the glass. Its teeth and maw were dropping with saliva. It was a large dog, and it wasn't at the same time. It stopped just outside of the door and glared at me. Snarls ripped from its throat, but I couldn't hear any of it. Not really. I was too terrified to move, paralyzed by its malevolent glare. It's not real, I thought. Just get up, walk away, and go to bed. Eventually I did. I left my water on the table and fell into full untepid. I crept quietly up the stairs. It felt as if sudden news might set it off. So I did everything slowly and carefully until I was lying in bed. Despite my expectations, I was able to fall asleep relatively quickly. I don't think I even dreamed. In the morning, with the light of day and the presence of other people around me, the whole thing could be written off as a figment of my imagination. I was obviously spooked by something from the moment I got up. So it wasn't that far-fetched for my mind that my mind would play such a trick on me. I didn't say anything to anyone, simply because I didn't think it was anything significant. I mean, what even happened? I didn't exactly forget about it, but I didn't let it worry me either. It wasn't even something to move on from, just a strange thing that happened. Life went on. The next few years were difficult and rather hard on my family, financially, emotionally, health-wise as well. We got along well enough even after our house was foreclosed on. We switched towns, switched schools, and moved to a much smaller house as we waited for things to get better. I was 14, starting high school, and things started to settle down again. I didn't exactly approve of our new home. My brother and I lived downstairs in the basement, and our rooms shared a wall. We enjoyed each other's company well enough, so it wasn't that bad spending that much time together. But there were times when he could get on my nerves. I would often stay up rather late reading in my room, and eventually came to notice a strange clicking noise coming from his bedroom every couple of nights around midnight. It was sounding as if he was flickering his light on and off. But why did he do that? I decided just to leave him be for a while, but the thing is, the more I noticed it, the more it started bothering me. I came to expect it to happen almost every night. A couple of weeks there, it was keeping me up at night, wondering what my brother thought he was doing, waiting until it would eventually stop. After a bit of internal debate, I decided to ask him just to please stop. Perhaps not so nicely, though. However, when I knocked and opened his door, I found the room dark and my brother himself in bed, apparently fast asleep. How strange. I closed the door and returned to my room. The odd noise persisted. The next day, I decided I was going to do a little experiment. Somebody must be making that noise after all. I told my brother that I noticed it and asked him to go around the basement rooms and click various things, lights, doors, anything. And I waited and listened in my room for a sound that matched that one I was hearing that night. Turns out it was the light in the little closet with the boiler that was attached to his room. There was a bare light bulb inside, and the pulling of the chain that made the noise I had been hearing that night. There was no further explanation to be found. Soon after, my brother started reporting strange dreams and the eerie feeling that he was being watched. Even during the day, I assumed this was in response to our discovery and mentally dismissed it, at least showing my support and sympathy. Until I started experiencing the same sort of things. I would wake up at night paralyzed with fear, sometimes coming out of disturbing nightmares, other times perfectly normal sleep. I could no longer fall asleep with my back exposed. I found myself unable to bear leaving my door open at night. During the day I felt paranoid, always looking over my shoulder and waiting for something to hurt me. Weeks later, something finally happened to me while I was lifting my foot to climb up the stairs and enjoying my family meal. Not a single thought in my head. I was sitting awash with terror. I just ran up to the door on the top of the stairs, afraid of my wits for no apparent reason. When I stepped in daylight, I turned around and looked behind me. It was there, at the bottom of the stairs, watching me. That dog. I knew it was there, but I couldn't see it just like before. I closed the door and walked up into the kitchen. No one saw or heard anything, and I momentarily panicked, and I didn't feel like enlightening him, neither did my brother. Strange noises are fine, a creepy and inexplainable thing, but now you're seeing phantom dogs? Liar? What? Yeah. Stupid or overreactive imagination. Calm the hell down. I didn't want to go back there. Ever. But eventually I just got back in the habit of feeling constant dread. That's just normal. Clicking around from anywhere? Normal. Nightmare again? Totally normal. My parents started arguing a lot. Dad would leave and go on walks to clear his head. Gone for so long, we'd start to wonder if he was ever coming back. We moved again, switched towns, switched schools. My grades went down the toilet. My real-life problems chased the unnatural fear away. Everything sort of peaked, then slowly started to get better over the course of the next year. My aunt and uncle came to town, and we went to luncheon one day. The conversation was light-hearted enough between my siblings and cousins, until my brother brought up the weird happenings in our old house. My cousin latched on to his old and told us a few paranormal stories of her own. One day she said that she was playing with her friends in their old backyard when she heard a noise. She said she didn't really hear it exactly, but she knew the sound when she looked up. She saw a great big dog with a jingling chain around its neck. She had screamed and ran inside to her mom, crying uncontrollably and completely inconsolable. She said she didn't really understand what was happening. Feeling distinctly unsettled, I asked her what the dog looked like. Big and black, she said. With shaggy fur, yellow eyes, I asked. Yes. Yellow eyes and was bigger than a normal dog. Taller. I saw that dog too when I was staying at your house. I told them the short little story of how I'd woke up to see a big scary dog through the doors in her kitchen, and she thought it was a strange coincidence. Apparently it was around. She didn't have a well. What was going on then? I wondered aloud. Well, I was right about the same time a close relative started to get so dangerously sick. That was right before Mom and Dad's business started to go down, and Uncle lost his job. And various things started to get better, until it showed up again. Wait, what if? No way. This was just a figment of my imagination, and here's a coincidence. There was no demon dog following us around, bringing misfortune to our family. No way. Demons aren't real. Angels aren't real either. There's nothing watching us from the shadows, waiting while people sleep. There can't be, because if there is, I don't think I could ever feel the same again. Shh! There's someone there. Seeing it doesn't help much, but I can feel it so strongly watching. Its gaze prickling all along my spine. Well, if our eyes aren't seeing everything that's really there. And there is something in the dark that just wants to spread pain and misery. There would be no reason with such things, no fighting. So, they can't be real. Can they? That was good. That was a pretty long one though. I think I would doing this like once a week maybe. Either one long one or two short ones. But yeah, that was nice. Don't forget to drop a like and to subscribe.